Hello, and welcome to our very first Rome 2 Empire Divided Let's Play. As a huge fan personally of Rome 2 before I started work at CA, it's a huge honour for me to bring you this Let's Play. Empire Divided is brand new DLC content for Rome 2, releasing on the 30th of November 2017. Empire Divided is set in 270 AD. The Roman Empire is fractured and on the brink of collapse. We take on the role of Aurelian, a man who rose through military ranks to gain respect from the people and the legions to be declared their rightful ruler. However, him becoming Emperor of Rome wasn't simple, and we have a lot of struggles before we can take Rome and regain control of the empire. So let's take a look at where we're at. We're very early in the campaign, on turn 12, and as you can see, we start in a civil war. The Roman pretenders are in Italy, and we must march in to take back what is rightfully ours. We already have a patrician in Latium, scouting ahead, and we can get him into action right away. I'm going to use him to try and prevent the main Roman pretenders' army from marching on to defend their northern territories by misleading their command.
Undermining their authority.
That action was successful and he's managed to mislead their command. And he's also leveled up as well. I'm going to give him the dignitary skill, so that will increase his success in all of his future actions. So taking back Rome is the current objective assigned to us, so we're going to go for that first. As you can see, Aurelian and his legion are already marching into the north of Italy. Let's move them towards our first target, Patavium. It shouldn't take him too long to get there.
Your next command.
Now, if we look at the strategic overview, we can see that we're early on in our campaign, and these territories have pledged their allegiance to us as their rightful emperor. We also have territories in Africa that have remained loyal to us. We have peace treaties with most of the factions down there, and I would rather leave it that way for now, as we have much bigger issues to deal with, including the fact that we've already lost Dacia, which sticks quite true to history. And if we toggle public order on, you can see that so far I have focused on stabilising our current provinces. Going back to the campaign map, we currently have a Gallic Roman force to deal with. Let's move our general, Scoprius, towards Nuria to try and defend it from Gallic Rome, who are trying to rise up and take advantage of our situation.
We hunger for battle. Is that all?
Before we end this turn, we just need to choose a new technology to research. As you can see, these are reworked in Empire Divided for each major faction, and are specific to the history of each ruler. I'm going to choose to seize the Imperial Treasury. This will give us a bit of extra income to fund the upcoming wars. Let's end the turn there, and I'll let this turn play out, but each one afterwards I'll dip to black unless something interesting happens, in the effort to save a bit of time. We can see the Roman pretenders getting quite busy.
I come to ask this. Will you stand with Rome and
Numidia want us to join their war, but I really don't want to be fighting any more battles, especially down on a coast I'm not worried about currently. And we can also see that the Roxolani are moving into our empty territory. This eastern front really is a challenge to defend. So we've got an event message that's popped up. This event is about the Sibylline books. If you want to read this, just feel free to pause and then continue on when you've read it. Now, of course, playing as Aurelian, I'm going to choose stability. So this quite large stack of Roxolani has marched into our territory towards Sirmium, trying to take advantage of my forces being spread so thin and us marching up to the north. They're one turn away yet, so let's see what they decide to do next turn as Scoprius is dealing with this Gallic Roman army. Let's go straight into this battle, and it should be a decent win for us as we're reinforced by Nuria.
Waiting for more orders. Is that all?
Now our losses weren't too heavy, as we can see our general has increased in rank.
Ready for battle.
The general skill tree is also new in Empire Divided. We have loads more options available to choose from, and I think the most useful one for Cecropius is going to be Lawkeeper, so you can use those buffs to keep stability in these eastern provinces. His work isn't done yet. Straight out of the frying pan and into the fire, it's time to head towards Sirmium.
Advance!
Now back to Aurelian. His job on this turn should be much easier. Let's march towards Batavium, and as you can see, this battle is going to be an absolute slaughter. These Roman pretenders will regret choosing to not side with us. We could loot or raid these towns, but ultimately we want control of Italy, so we'll occupy this settlement.
Ready for battle! Commander?
Aurelian has also increased skill level, and I'm going to choose Strategist to help traverse the map quicker on our journey to Rome. Araminium will be our next port of call. Over to the east, we can see that we've already had some growth in these settlements and even got a bit of spare change in our pocket. Let's use this to reinforce our army in Apollonia.
Ready for orders.
We can only recruit Roman levies here at the moment, but they may help if we decide to cross the sea and take southern Italy. Now, during our last turn, we also got a population surplus in Athene. Let's expand our town. And now that's done, let's build a suburbia to help fund these wars to come and then end the turn there. As we predicted, Sirmium is now under siege. Oh, and we can also see that we have a leader event, brand new to Empire Divided. As we are playing as Aurelian, the storyline is specific to him, and if you wish to read this for yourself, feel free to pause here. For part 1 we have 4 options. We can scold him, joke, take the helmet off, or the option that I'm going to choose, control yourself. Back to the siege, and we'll start the Legion's march back towards the provincial capital, as the city can only hold out for 2 more turns. Let's recruit some more men too while we're at it. As we can see, we can only recruit Roman levies again. They're really having to leverage their weight in this campaign, but we will need them to help win this battle. Back over in Italy, Aurelian can continue his march south by stamping his authority on Araminium.
Siege to the settlement! Ready for orders.
Our legions are beginning to gain experience and have gained a tradition. I'm going to choose engineering experts, as this is our main expansion force and I'll need to break down a lot of city walls. Aurelian has also leveled up, but I don't need either of these other skills at the moment, so instead I'm going to give a boost to my men's morale. Now, the Roman pretenders have decided that they're going to travel east and move towards my settlements. Before we deal with this though, I'm also going to use this turn to get Marcus, my patrician, to try and hinder the enemy army. So we could look at trying to distract them again or mislead their command. But I think for this one I'm going to try and assassinate their current general in Rome. This will help make the future battle much easier.
What we do in life.
Now unfortunately he's failed his mission there, but he has at least managed to escape, so we can maybe try that again in a future turn. Aurelian and his legion will begin marching on Rome on next turn. I could end a turn there, but I think I'll recruit a new general instead. Gaius Tetricus Epidius Apollo, an epic name and let's hope an epic future general. He is part of Aurelian's dynasty and looks like the perfect candidate. I'm going to recruit him with some Praetorian cavalry.
Ready for battle.
And this time we have some more options available to recruit. The levies are safe for this turn.
Come, fight for Rome.
Now that should be everything, and let's end the turn there. So during this turn, the pretenders have continued sailing across the coast and have hit Salona. They've sieged it and have taken it pretty easily, to be fair. Now due to that, the edict has now been cancelled and we no longer own the whole province. We can also see that our event is continuing, and we will find out the results of that later. The threat of the pretenders on our shores is going to be a real issue, so let's recruit some more men for our new General Apollo.
Rome needs good fighters. Ready for battle.
We can also continue our march onto Sirmium.
At your command. Make haste, men. Your next
Back down in Italy, Marcus can try to give us an early advantage on our taking of Rome. Let's roll the dice again and try and assassinate their general once more.
Beware of wolves in the dark. My mission was a resounding success.
And Marcus looks pretty proud of his work with his arms out wide, celebrating to the sky. He has wounded their general and also increased in rank. They now have a captain in charge of defending Rome with low stats. Let's level Marcus up and increase his success chance on his future assassinations. It's now time for Aurelian to march upon his city.
None will escape. Laying siege to the settlement.
Now, they have some decent forces in there, but once we have our siege equipment, it should be a good battle. I'm going to choose to take a tortoise, galleys, and more ladders for this siege.
Let them cower before Rome.
Let's end the turn there. Oh, and we have one town without an edict, so let's just go down and find that. So I'm going to increase tax harvesting. That increased tax rate will really be useful at this time. During this turn, Rex, the general of the Roman pretenders, has charged towards us, but we cannot win this battle, so I will retreat for now and hope he stays put. Which luckily for us, he does. So we can see that surrender is imminent in Sirmium, so we will deal with that shortly. We'll deal with the technology a bit later, as the aforementioned is probably a bit more pressing. Our event now also requires some action from us. Looking at these options, we don't have enough food to choose to fulfill the prophecy. We don't really have the wealth for this option either. I'd rather not lose loyalty from the political parties, and the final option is the public order penalty. This is a tough choice to choose from. The best one for me probably is burn the books. My provinces are all quite stable, and taking that penalty is going to hurt me the least, I think. So back to the more pressing issue of this siege. Sirmium is almost at breaking point. Sikoprius has made it just in time to save the people of the city. Let's attack their force, break the siege and kill them. Okay, so they broke the siege and retreated from this battle, but they're still in my lands. They haven't run away too far. Oh, this is a really tough choice. I mean, I could march down south and help out General Polo and stop losing Nerona. Okay, well, I definitely want to try and recruit some more men down here just in case they don't attack. But those Roxolani forces could try and take Sirmium again. This is a really tough choice. I mean, as for this army, I'm putting them in march stance would allow them to reach it. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to march down and save Nerona for sure. And then we'll see what happens up north. Let's hope it works out for us. So back over to Rome, we can see that the siege is ongoing. The siege equipment is slowly being built. We have our tortoise there already, just waiting for the galley and the ladders. But the siege will continue, so that's fine.
This settlement for Rome!
So this has been a tough turn so far. We've taken a gamble. Let's see how that works out. But we can start researching some new technology. I'm going to start on reorganising the cohorts to help improve my infantry. And down south, let's not forget about Nero. His legion can stay sitting in Apollonia for now, defending against the possibility of these pretenders over here mounting an attack on us further south. Now let's end the turn there. Now we can see the outcome of this leader event for Aurelian. He's gained +1 zeal. Now you can pause this if you wish, and this story will continue throughout my campaign, providing many new options to choose from and continuing the story and the historical narrative. So looking over here, we can see that the Roxolani have decided to raid our lands, but Sirmium seems safe for now. Luckily for us, this has turned out to be quite a good tactical decision, and let's get Sikoprius out of march stance, attack these pretenders and teach them a lesson. Having all of these extra forces has put the balance in our favour and means we can win this battle with a decisive victory. We've managed to wipe out pretty much their entire force. We can now upgrade this legion's traditions as well. I'm going to choose formidable fighters as they still have a lot of that to be done.
Commander,
I'll move them towards Salona and recruit some extra cavalry, as well as merging the existing units, which are heavily depleted. If you don't know, you can do that using Control and M at the same time. I can now move Polo east to defend Sirmium, should it go under siege again, and make it a much fairer fight. And while I'm there, I'll also bolster up his forces. It's all coming up roses for now, and it's time to move towards the undefended Brundisium.
We hunger for battle. March. We still have good wind.
I will expand Nerona, and as you can see, there's a lot of options for me to choose from. I'm going to go for the Procurator's Villa to deal with the banditry issue in this province, and it will also increase our tax rate further to fund my increasing army sizes. We do have one issue to deal with though, and that's the lack of food. New to the Power and Politics patch, this can now be resolved by sending a statesman to organise a feast and temporarily increase the food available in a province. This does cost gold and also adds gravitas to an opposition party, but I'd rather that than the people starve. And as you can see, we now have a surplus of 4 food because that mission was a success. Now let's get back to our main objective of this Let's Play and take our city, the city of Rome.
To victory! Let them cower before Rome!
Now thank you very much for watching this Let's Play, and I will leave you with some cinematic shots of the battle that happened while I took Rome. And of course, just a reminder that Empire Divided is DLC for Rome 2 and is available on the 30th of November 2017.
Attack their positions! Right! Quick march!
If you'd like to find out more, check out the links in the description below.